Sir, तुम्हारा चेयर करने की जरूरत नहीं sir. Well, okay. So we'll shift to the next talk. Is research possible in private practice? It is obviously possible in institutional practice, but is it really possible in private practice? May I call on stage Dr. Prashant Muralkar, sir, to speak on it.
Prashant, please. Sabni sir, come here. Okay, okay.
So, at the outset, I thank organizers, Wisdom team, and Sabnit sir for giving me two talks, which are very easy. The second talk is very easy. It's a question. Is research possible in private practice? This is the answer. Sir, मैं बोलूँ आगे? So, I speak on these aspects, my journey, why to do types, challenges, and why. When I was in first MGBS, I read this book by Dr. B.D. Chaurasi and I found that there is some mistake in that book. So I wrote a letter to him that this is the problem in your book. He said that it is a printing mistake. Anyway, it was not a printing mistake. Anyway, B.D. Chaurasi wrote back to me that you read my book so clearly that I appreciate it. And when I was in second MBBS, I wrote this book. It's a mnemonic on anatomy, which was published by a publication called Youth Media Publication in 1985. It was sold at ₹6 only those days. So you have to basically have quickly to write. When I was doing MS surgery, he is my teacher. And the topic I choose was very odd one. The topic was burns in pregnancy, which nobody discussed in those days. We had one study group, two control groups, burned but non-pregnant, and pregnant but not burned, and a study group. So published in an international journal and has 83 citations so far. One of the most quoted article where I am an author. This was in 94. Then I joined MCH, had one or two letters to editor published. I got a CKP Menon Prize, and then I started my practice in Akola. Started earning little money, but slowly started deteriorating academically because I did not get time to read. So in 2001, I said let's subscribe to Journal of Urology. So I took this AUL membership. Unfortunately, I did not get time to read the journals. And from 2001, for 10-12 years, I did not read much because the practice was killing me. In 2015, these are real pictures of those days. In one conference in Goa, I had a heated debate with this man. He argued something and he was correct. So at that point I realized that I have deteriorated so low down that a person who is so junior to me, who is a resident in one college, can argue with me and win. So I felt very bad. I felt jealous of him. And then I started I should read. After that, I started reading Campbell's Urology again. Then, these people will always inspire me to write. Pankaj will always say, Chimta lega, write something. Whenever I used to see the presentations by Dr. Sabnis or Dr. MRD, I used to get some idea. Yes, we can work on this project, we can work on this research concept. With that, why should we do research? Because in private practice, we get many patients and we can contribute to the evidence-based medicine. In private practice, you have follow-up of patients for 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. I have patients who are with me for the last 25 years also. So you get to know all details of these patients. Then your problems are very specific. And sometimes you have solutions which can enhance your patient. And you can generate a good evidence. Now this is the Karl Storz introduced this camera SPICE, which was about the macroscopic image enhancement. And there was no clinical study on this subject. This was the first clinical study on that system, which got published and is being quoted very well nowadays. This I did in my own hospital. For that, I spent around 50 lakh rupees because I bought 2 SPICE cameras. It was not a sponsored. But anyway, I got a good paper for 50 lakh. Now there are some problems for very region specific. Now this is a mud feature. You will not see in USA or UK, you will not see in any European journal. Mud hydrosis in endemic. You get renal high disease, not seen by anybody, can get published in good journal. And the last, that's maggots in PCNL tube. We see these problems. Only thing is, we do not feel like publishing these. If you document these, it's a very small thing. Just a 1000 or 1500 word article, but can get published in a good journal. You have to have a right inclination to write. Now, how do we enhance our patient care out of these publications? This is my article on multivariate analysis of risk factors predicting outcome of buccal mucosa graft arthropathy. Very old article. In those days, it was the largest series on BMG arthropathy. And this was acknowledged by Dr. Kulkarni, who was sitting in audience in the end. After that, I did not write much on BMG arthropathy. But it was the largest study of those days. Yeah. And this was a point of technique where we do antegrade ureteroscopy. How can we make it more safe, less radiation, less trauma to the patient? Published in Turkey. So, by a small thing, you can enhance your patient care, and you do get professional satisfaction by getting a Best Reviewer award. Although this is not a publication, this is a byproduct publication. What type of research can an individual person do? He can do clinical audit very easy, no problem. You just have to collect the data. Case reports I showed you, very easy to write. Nothing is no rocket science at all. Prospective observation studies are little difficult, but can be done. And I will come to systematic reviews little later. Now this is a publication on PCNL monotherapy for Chagon renal calculi at district place, wherein we had a stone clearance rate of 88%, and this was published in Asian Congress. And the chairperson bashed me like anything. She said, "Doc, do you have access to angiography?" I said, "No." The angiography suit was around 200 kilometers from my place. So he said, "You should not be doing this surgery." Although I had no patient who had gross hemorrhage, had a good success rate, but somehow he said that you should not be doing PCNL at a district place. So मैं सुनने वाला तो था नहीं. I started कि what else can I do? So that I read an article by this fellow, and I spent 2 lakh rupees more by buying a small microscope. So that was the practice changing publication for me. So how his paper changed my practice. Case reports, very easy to write, and there are journals who publish case reports provided the content is novel. This is a very small case study, single incision orthodoxy. We do these procedures, only thing we collected the data, collected all the variables, and it got published. Prospective observation studies are little difficult in individual practice, but can be done for a very small concept. Now this concept, this is not yet published, but is under review. As the prostate enlarges, the length of catheter outside the urethra decreases. Very small hypothesis. We have very good data. And if you go home and see your prostate patients, anybody whose external catheter is just this much will have a large. So you can judge the prostate size by just looking at the catheter. Very small concept. And we have a prospective observation study on this. Systematic review. Extremely easy. Do not need patience. Do not only need to have time. You need to have team not many systematic reviews published where I am one of the team member or I am a lead member of the team and review articles. Review articles are very easy to write. Only thing is the concept that you have should be novel and there should not be any review article on that topic in last 5 years. So you can write it. Now this one review article which is on clinical andrologists, do we need them in an era of ART? This was published before the new ART bill came, and in old ART bill it was not necessary to have a person who is qualified in urology to be a part of ART. It was optional. Even a gynecologist was allowed to do TISA. So in that light, I wrote this article and it got published. Challenges. I started working at a district place in pre-internet era, so there was no life. There was no ethics committee because there was no medical college. The best thing that happened to me for publication was COVID, because in COVID my work used to get over by 2 p.m. and after that I was free. Internet was working. So every day I used to write something or other. Many of that work is unfinished, still I am working on. Another challenge that we face is we do not know statistics. There are websites like this, Real Statistics or statisticsHowto.com. You can learn statistics at a slow pace, easily, slowly. The need for library was filled in by my work arrangement with University of Edinburgh, where I get legal access to almost all journals. I get a legal copy of Cambridge Urology, not a pirate. My employees, my family members, they do help. My employees will collect all the patients. ऐसे कि आप एक काम करो ये ऑपरेशन के 50 केस पेपर निकाल दीजिएगा. So next 2 days they will bring all the case papers. Somebody will compile. My daughter who is working in Google will always help me in analysis of the data and how that data can be presented, how machine learning can be applied to that data. So they help me. Even a 6th or 7th grade pass employee can compile all the case papers for particular operations if you give him proper hints. These all case papers he collected in carton like this, and then somebody who is even just a 10th standard pass will collect the data from those case papers. Whether this patient had fever, what was the operative time, did that patient require blood transfusion. तो कुछ नहीं करना है, उनको बोलना है, possible है. So in these so many years, I have more than 25 publications from a very small practice. Publications do not require rocket science, only thing you need some convictions to write. And these are all folders. One folder is one project. It is unfinished. I don't think I am going to finish all these publications in my lifetime. The publications will remain if I get some team, somebody who is willing to collaborate. Each folder is one publication. Potential publication. एक मिल गया है. So, start small. Work on a unique idea. Hook onto that idea. Have a meaningful clinical question which is in tune with your clinical work. Your research question should be tenable and you should absorb your employees. You will get good publications. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Prashant. I just want to ask in the audience, how many of you have 25 publications? Raise your hand. So good number. Good number. Yeah. Comments?
Yeah, Prashant, I think this talk is going to stimulate many young urologists here who are aiming for their own hospital in tier 2 cities, district places, and will go on to have more publications or equal to you.
Thank you.
Great
It's an
stimulation.
open invitations. Anybody wants to collaborate, because I do not have time. I have got the data. If anybody wants to collaborate, can be a co-author on any of those folders shown. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful talk, Shant, sir, and moderators. Yes.
Yeah. the medical colleges have their jurisdiction.
But if medical college is not there in your town,
If the medical college is not there in your town, your district is covered by a particular medical college, you have to approach to that medical college. Or there are also private, if the project is to be sponsored by pharma, yes. Yes. They will help you, but all my projects are done through the ethics committee of GMC Akola.
and is RCT possible?
Yes, RCC is possible.
RCT was not.
RCT is possible. RCT I could not do because I do not have time. I have got a very busy practice. So I did not have time. RCT is possible. Only thing is you need to have a good committee and all that. So you have to write your project very well. And RCT में एक प्रॉब्लम क्या है, आप रिसर्च प्रोटोकॉल चेंज नहीं कर सकते. जो आपका ऑब्जर्वेशनल स्टडी है उसमें थोड़ा बहुत चेंज आप कर सकते हैं.
Dr. Prashant, I would like to just add here for your benefit that the West Zone Council has started a research group also which is called PARC and which helps all the members and the students come into and get their publications done. Dr. Prashant is one of the active members. Dr. Pankaj is also one of the active members of the group. So if anyone has any publication material which he needs assistance with, you should get hold of these guys. Yes, we help them through the ethical committee also.
Your local figure. You have to go to.
Yes, but there are rules. There are rules for the ethical committee, whether if an ethical committee is present within a particular radius, then you can use that. Otherwise, you have to go to the next echelon, which is the nearest one.
We tried on that, but it was not possible. I'll tell you the reason in private.
So, sir, to add the answer to this, so this we had a discussion in CRC. So in CRC, lot of hospitals come and collaborate. Although there could be smaller hospitals, then how do they get their ethical approval? So there is, I will share a national website. This problem has been sorted out by Indian government. So they have a national ethics committee. It is meant for all those people who don't have an access to ethics committee. Government has solved this problem by making a national ethics committee, and there is a official portal for it. You can share their site on it, and they can do and get an ethics approval. Yes, sir.